good morning, everyone, and welcome to This Day. It is a Friday, October 18th, and a nice fall day out today, but we got some wind coming at you in just a couple days. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, the Mayor Pro Tem from the city of Laguna Woods, Noel Hatch, is here, and he's going to be talking about, they just had their city council meeting, and also a couple events that are going to be coming up in the next few weeks. Also, we're going to have Carl Randazza here today from United, and he's going to tell us about a few different things, what's going on with the new board members. He's got kind of a list of the different committees and that sort of thing. We'll go over that. We're going to bring a segment from the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and then we're going to possibly have a segment with Envision Eye Centers. Now, as far as meetings to go today, GRF has their Meet the Candidates meeting. That will be in the boardroom at 10 o'clock. We televise that live, so if you want to tune in for that. Keep in mind with GRF candidates, those folks are voted onto the GRF board by other board members, and you still tune in and watch, and you have a say by speaking to your board members on your opinion of who you like. Then the Energy Task Force, they're going to be having a meeting in the boardroom at 1 o'clock. Now, as far as the weather goes, we are looking at a nice day today, similar to what we had yesterday, and tomorrow's going to be about the same. However, that changes on Sunday when those Santa Ana winds start to come in. More than likely, they will start to come in the afternoon or late evening, overnight into Monday, and they will probably last. This one looks like maybe a 24-hour event. So not too bad. However, do expect the possibility of a red flag warning going up, probably, I would say, Sunday evening to maybe Monday evening as it stands right now. That for this area is not in force at this moment, but because the weekend's coming up, keep a watch for that. And then Tuesday and Wednesday are both going to be very warm days. Now, we could have the Santa Ana winds spill over into Tuesday in the morning. That's still a possibility. So anytime, as it stands right now, I would say late Sunday afternoon to mid-evening all the way through Tuesday are the possibilities of these Santa Ana winds. Now, looking around the state this weekend, and really for mid-October, it's fairly mild. Yes, there's a little rain up in the North Coast, Eureka area. We'll have on and off rain this weekend. Shouldn't be too heavy, but everywhere else, you know, when you look around, look at Lake Tahoe, 55 degrees. That's South Lake Tahoe, by the way, is where I get that temperature. Yosemite, 68, Arrowhead, 67. These are all mild temperatures for mid-October. And as I said, those offshore winds due to come in probably in this area Sunday evening, and then last anywhere, I'd say, from a full day, from 24 hours to maybe a day and a half or so. We'll be back in just a moment.
Stick to the 3 Ps of marketing. They place it on the MLS, they put up a sign, and pray that it sells. Laguna Premier Realty takes a different approach to marketing your home. From professional and high-quality photos, to high-definition video, single property websites, and 3D virtual tours. We will make your property stand out and, most importantly, sell. So whether you are looking to list your current home or find your dream home in the village, Laguna Premier Realty is here to help.
Hey Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button Then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
Did you know there are over 400,000 seniors in Orange County today? So where does a senior or family caregiver go for information and resources? You can turn to the Answers Guide published by the Council on Aging Southern California. Answers is full of articles and resources to help you navigate the aging experience. You can pick up your free copy today at the clubhouse nearest you or at the Social Services Office. The Council on Aging, helping seniors remain healthy, connected, and protected.
Through my window, I see the first sunlight, and I feel the warm ocean breeze. I see the waves that lulled me all night. That's what my window brings me.
Look at this.
That view is $1 million.
It's amazing we can look at these kinds of places within our budget.
You don't have a bad view from here anywhere you look.
It's all about the view. Sunday night is beach night. Sunday night at 8, only on HGTV.
Well, I'd like to welcome back with us today the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Laguna Woods, Noel Hatch. And Noel, always good to see you, sir.
Ken, it's always a pleasure to get up early and come.
Yes. Now, I had asked just to make sure it's the transition is you're probably your first city council you'll preside over as mayor. You have done that before, of course. Will be probably in January. You
Yes.
said. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but you've been mayor once before or twice before?
As mayor?
Yes.
Just once before.
Just once before.
I think I'm in my 7th year or something like that.
All right.
on the
Very
council.
good.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys had your city council meetings on Wednesday?
Yes, and I brought with me the complete agenda for the meeting.
Okay.
And not much exciting happened.
Well,
to
that's
report
probably
on.
good, right?
Yeah. I'll share two things which I think were of, at least as far as the city is concerned, were of great value. Number one, we agreed that we should continue the process of keeping our unfunded liability for pension liability down close to non-existent.
Okay.
So we'll make a contribution of $100,000 this year, which will save us $70,000 in interest over a period of years. And that will put us at 92% funded.
Okay.
Which is a little high.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, one of the very few cities that is in that enviable position of having their pension liability essentially funded.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
that's true.
Great.
Yeah,
We're small,
very good.
but it was very worthwhile.
Right, yeah. Good,
So that's
good on you guys.
That's number one. Number two was a readjustment of the capital expenditure budgets between some of the projects we have going and the new project, which has been funded in part by the state with the $500,000 grant for the library. A public branch, a branch of the public library, which will be built probably within the next year and a half.
And that will be a freestanding building, right? Kind of in the parking lot as well?
Yeah, it'll be in the parking lot. And
very good.
We're going to allocate about $600,000 approximately toward that construction. And so that we juggled the other capital projects so that it will not have a fiscal impact on our budget.
Yeah, very good.
So that's exciting for us.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
That'll be nice. And when do you anticipate breaking down ground on that? Sometime mid-year?
That is, we have not let the contract for the architectural drawings, so that will be coming up shortly.
Okay.
So it'll be
exciting.
a while. It is exciting for us.
Very good.
All right, those are the two main things. We did some work on amending the various code provisions to bring them into compliance with fire code requirements, one of which is to install sprinklers for when you're retrofitting your place.
Right.
That will not impact our city people
Okay.
here in the village. That won't be a requirement for people that are doing remodeling work and so forth, so there's no worry there.
Okay.
Other than that, I made a promise, if I may talk for just a minute, to Council Member Horn.
Okay.
And let me ask you, we worry about what living here? We don't worry about hurricanes, do we?
No.
What do we worry about?
Well, we worry about, obviously, earthquakes and fires.
Yeah,
Probably the two main things.
Yeah, and earthquakes are big now.
Yes.
And are we given instructions as to what to do in the event in preparation for that event?
Well, we have certainly talked about being prepared and things like that, yes.
Yeah, ready to evacuate or do whatever is necessary, get under the table, all of these sort of things. Is it wise to follow those instructions, do you think, Kent?
Well, I would say so, although the old adage of getting in between a door frame, they say that's an old thing.
It changes.
But yes, of course, you know.
But our failure to follow those instructions, say for the earthquake,
You're right.
who's being harmed by our failure to do it? Your personal failure? Just you and your family?
Well, no, I mean really everyone, and because
if you're in a big building, if you're in a home, it was really a personal. Sherry asked me to report to the village here on another issue that is bothering her greatly.
Okay, what is that?
And I said I would do so.
All right.
All right, and I brought a visual aid.
Okay.
May I?
Sure.
And you tell me when we run out
Oh,
of
yes,
time.
I know what this is about.
I know you know what this is about.
Yes.
But all right, how do we get the message across?
Well, you know what? Just the
Tell
other
me.
day, on Tuesday, we had on Lori Young from the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control Department.
Right.
And she was on with Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, and we talked about this.
Good.
And I know one of the problems with these saucers, this is kind of the old adage, a double-edged sword.
Right.
Because obviously, if you have plants, especially up on your balcony, it is required, at least as far as I know, if I'm wrong, I apologize, to have something under those plants so they don't leak.
Yes.
So therefore, it would have to catch water.
Right.
And that's the double-edged sword there, because this is where mosquitoes breed in standing water.
All right, it's my plant.
It's your plant.
All right. Do I have an obligation to myself and to others to keep the saucer free of standing water?
Well, yes, you do.
Do you think? All right.
Yes, you do.
All right. So the question is, are we, and Councilmember Horn does not feel we are doing it, are we doing our job in making sure that there is no standing water?
Well, I think the message has certainly gone out.
All right, the message has gone out, but we really have to do it. And now, who gets hurt if we don't do it?
Yeah, I mean, the mosquitoes don't just sit right there; they go all over.
They incubate, and do they do it maybe by the hundreds?
But more by the tens of thousands
or millions. Yeah, lots of them. Anyway, that was the message. So one of the things that was suggested yesterday as we were talking, if you walked by the saucer or the container on a daily basis, just walk by and gave it a little jiggle.
Yeah.
What happens? The water moves around.
You're right.
And it's no longer stagnant.
You're right.
Simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one possibility.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And I know it's, again, it is something here. People have a lot of plants with a lot of saucers.
Yeah.
Some of those plants are quite large, as you know.
And particularly in the 3 stories.
Right.
Well, everywhere, really.
Yeah. And, it's kind of a hard thing.
It is hard.
I don't have to worry about that at my house. I have my own yard. And so things are planted in the ground. If they are in a pot, I don't care where the water goes because it's, it's not that big a deal.
Last month when I was here, I think I made reference to a Fleetwood Mac song.
Yes, I think you did.
I'm a great fan of Fleetwood Mac. And as I was coming over today and I was thinking about this, on my CD was a Fleetwood Mac song. It's called Go Your Own Way.
Yeah.
You remember that one? Great
Sure,
song.
of course.
Great job. So the message, go your own way for that lonely day.
Yeah.
And it kind of fit to this thing. We can go our own way or we can really join a movement to make sure that these things don't go. All right, that was my promise to Sherry.
Okay, and I want a couple events that are coming up. I wanted to say quickly. The first one, this is just a week away, on October 26th, is National Prescription Medication Take Back Day. Now, this will be happening at City of Laguna Woods. Actually, many areas in Southern California, this will be happening. But this gives you a chance from 10 to 2 to take back any unwanted, unused, or expired prescription medications. No questions are asked. They do ask that you don't bring sharps, you don't bring marijuana, and you don't bring pressure canisters. So this is, like I said, throughout Southern California, throughout Orange County, all the cities are doing this, most of them anyway, but of course right here is the most convenient for you. So that is not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 26th.
Great opportunity to do it, just clean house.
Yeah. Okay. So you have something here you want to?
No, I just wanted to make a mention here. This is on the Fire Authority, the board I sit on. There were 142,000 emergency calls last year. And this is the report. I'm going to leave it with you. It's the Orange County Firefighters Union's annual report.
All right, very good.
Some interesting things. Two things that kind of jumped out as far as our community is concerned. You'll see here emergency incidents by city for the entire year. Santa Ana, with a population of 300 and some odd thousand, had 27,000 calls.
Wow.
Emergency calls in last year. Irvine was next with 16, 17, 18,000. We go, and this is the entire 23 cities, and we are number 8.
Right.
We received in our city 5,000, 229 calls.
And yet when you look at population, you're about third from the bottom.
Yeah. So we receive that many calls, and then you go down here to Laguna Hills, and that comes in with 3,000 some odd.
Yeah.
So that means 8,000 some odd calls.
Right.
To Station 22.
Yeah.
Which is our station.
Right. Amazing.
And there's the station, the most busy station in all of Orange County.
Wow.
And how grateful we are. And so when you have the fire chief over for an interview or somebody, I'll leave this with you. And
okay, I appreciate that.
You can talk about this.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Always good to see you, sir.
Always good to see you.
And I know I'll be seeing you again. So you have a wonderful weekend. And again, this Got Drugs event is next weekend, Saturday the 26th. We'll mention that again next week. We'll be right back.
Good.
Thank you. We'll get you unhooked here. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
It's a good book.
Yeah,
October is Audiology Awareness Month. Studies show that 70% of the people over the age of 65 have some form of hearing loss which affects their lives. Hearing loss is common, yet not healthy. Your brain needs to hear a complete spectrum of sound to process it quickly and accurately. Audiologists are the experts in treating hearing issues. Come to Amazing Hearing and let our audiologists change the way you hear.
Living and learning in Laguna Woods Village is a unique experience. For over 40 years, the Emeritus Institute has provided tuition-free college classes within your community. Join us to experience expert faculty, quality academics, and to make new friends through the Emeritus Institute. New classes start every semester, and you can join nearly any time. Visit our office at Clubhouse 4 or anytime at saddleback.edu/emeritus. Learn, live, and thrive with the Emeritus Institute.
This one is going to be a challenge for me.
Everything's moving 100 miles an hour.
This is your worst nightmare. Get out! Please, bring your dish forward.
MasterChef. Wednesdays are watch anytime on demand or Fox Now.
When other dealers say no, Capistrano Toyota says,
yes, we can.
Low payments? Yes, we can. Low financing for all types of credit? Yes, we can. Capistrano Toyota features 10 acres of new and certified pre-owned Toyotas, plus many used cars priced below $10,000. When other dealers say no, Capistrano Toyota says, yes, we can. Exit the 5 freeway at Camino Capistrano.
And with me right now from the United Mutual Board is Carl Randazzo. And Carl, welcome back. You are, once again, the first vice president.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I got voted in again, you know. Lucky you.
Good to see you here today.
Well, thank you. And I just have a public service announcement. I'm on second here today. Usually United's on first because of the fact that the light at El Toro and Moulton is out if you come down that road. It took me 45 minutes to get from gate 3 to the community center. Just words of wisdom, okay? So just be aware of that fact. So in any case, a couple of things we'll go over today with regard to United. We had our architectural committee, and oh, by the way, there's a couple of not email addresses, the websites that I have information that you should be able to get some information from, okay? And you may want to get a piece of paper and a pencil to write these down when I mention them. And so I'll ask you to do that. The architectural committee meeting took place this week, yesterday actually, and I chaired that meeting. That meeting is going to be chaired by somebody else, but yesterday he was out of town. We reviewed an alteration that does not currently have a standard associated with it, and it will need board approval. So it goes through our committee first, and then it goes off to the board. However, we do have standardized many of the alterations within the community that have been requested by residents. And as a result, the process to obtain approval from us has been made easier with just a visit to the alterations office and filling out a couple of forms. Now, a lot of people that have tried to do alterations, they probably say, well, you know, that's not the same case with the city. Well, just to let you know, okay, we are working with the city right now to try to obviate some of those problems and ease the pressure to get permits through. However, for the standards, if you want to look at what standards are available, so you do not have to go through a whole thing, where if these standards are available, you just got to go down to the alterations office and use that standard. You can go to www.lagunawoodsvillage.com/residents, then click on United, Laguna Woods Mutual, and then click on Documents. And then when you click on the documents, you'll see that one of the documents that's listed is a whole list of United architectural standards. And in there, there's about, there's lots, I didn't count them, okay, of standards that we currently have now on the books. You go in there, you say, this is the one I'm going to use. You're still going to get it, you may need to get a drawing from your contractor, but that's going to be in accordance with the standard, and since the standard is already there, you don't need board approval for any of that alteration. And as I said, we are working with the city right now to try to obviate some of the problems we're having with permits. So the thing right now is, the next thing is we're going to talk about is the Village Energy Task Force. And today at 1 p.m., we will have a Village Energy Task Force meeting. The energy in the community is a problem, as everybody has probably seen, because our village is older than 50 years. And the energy infrastructure is, and in many cases, needs to be upgraded and or repaired. Also, due to the influx of California electric vehicles, we need to upgrade the electrical infrastructure to address additional electric vehicles that are coming into our community. So with that in mind, we have hired a consultant to investigate infrastructure in our village. If you're interested in finding out what the consultant has found out so far, then please attend the VETF meeting today at 1 p.m. in the boardroom. The consultant will present what he has discovered so far based on his investigation, and we will pose questions to him. During that meeting, there will be possibly a question and answer session from the audience, but for the most part, the questions will come from the people that are on the committee itself. So please join us at 1 p.m. in the boardroom for the Village Energy Task Force meeting, and you may get some information that you're interested in receiving. As everyone knows now, we have got a new united board, 3 of us. There were 3 people that went off, and then one of those people came back on, and then 2 new people have come on board. And every time we have a new influx of people, we change our committees somehow to make sure that everybody is involved in certain activities. So we have formed committees as of last Monday, and as I've said on more than one occasion, either in a board meeting or here on TV6, and I've said it a number of times on TV6, the work for United starts and is worked on in the committee meetings. You can go to any board meeting you want, but if you notice, most of those resolutions that are brought forward are as a result of things that have been done during committees. And when you find a meeting on the Team Up calendar, you will also see the agenda and the talking points for that meeting. So if you want to find out what meetings are available besides the chart here, which is currently being shown, you can go to the Team Up calendar, and that would mean you're going to lagunawoodsvillage.com again, and then /calendars, and then you click on the United Mutual. And most of these meetings that are on Team Up are indicated as open meetings for all residents if you want to participate in those meetings. If they're not required, if you cannot attend them, then it'll be indicated as being closed. Some of these meetings actually are had on the second floor, so you'll have to sign in and get escorted up there. But these meetings are open, and if you really have an interest, that's where all the things start for United Board, okay, in the committees.
That's right, for all the boards.
For all the boards, exactly.
Yes.
Now, currently posted on your screen, as you can see, it indicates what meetings we have and what times we have these meetings. So a regular board meeting happens on the second Tuesday of every month, and it starts at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom. There's an agenda prep meeting, which is kind of boring, to be perfectly honest. Mostly it's only attended by board members, okay, and it just basically goes over what we're going to go over in the meeting. And that happens on the 4th Thursday monthly at 2:00 p.m. Architectural Controls meeting, which is the one that we just had yesterday, is on the 3rd Thursday monthly at 9:30 a.m. in the Elm Room, which is on the 1st floor. The Finance meeting is the last Tuesday of an odd month at 2 p.m. in the Sycamore Room, which is up on the 2nd floor, so you'll need to get information on that. The Government Documents Review meeting, 4th Monday monthly in the Sycamore Room, and it goes on. Maintenance and construction is probably one of the ones that many people really are interested in, and that happens on the 4th Wednesday of the even months at 9 a.m. So as you can see, sometimes these happen monthly, and sometimes these happen every other month. And it's in the boardroom, so it's really accessible to everybody. New resident orientation, we have 2 resident orientations, one in the evening on an odd month and in the morning on an even month. The Resident Advisory Committee, which is very important for anybody that's really having some problems and they don't know where to go, and they've been talking to resident services and what have you, okay?
Right.
They can get that information if they go attend the Resident Advisory Committee, and that's open to all residents. That, again, is happening on the 2nd floor. You'll have to sign in and get escorted up, and that's at 4 p.m. It's made it a late enough date for those people that are working. And then the Village Energy Task Force, which happens on the 1st Wednesday of odd months. So those are the specific meetings that are available for the people who have an interest. Then we have people that are assigned to these committees. And if you look at this chart here, you'll notice that on that committee, these are the committees that I just mentioned, and those committees right now, the current chairs of those committees are as follows. The Architectural Controls Committee, which happened yesterday, as I say, Brian was out of town, so I chaired it for him, is Brian Gilmore. He's a new guy. Communications Committee is Juanita Skillman. The Finance Committee is Elsie Addington. Andre Torng is the Governing Documents Committee Chairman. Landscape Committee is Manuel Armendariz. Maintenance and Construction is yours truly. Member Hearings Committee is Anthony Liberatore. And that committee is basically a closed committee where there's a compliance issues, okay, and we have people that come in and we ask them to discuss why there's certain things happened within, why they didn't comply with certain things. So that is basically a closed committee. But he's the one that's in charge of that one. Resident Advisory Committee is Neda Ardani, and that's the committee I just indicated to you that if you're having some issues, that committee, you go to them. We actually have people from staff that are actually in that committee, and they write down your particular problem. If you've gone through various different other ways to get these things resolved and then found out that you're still not getting your issue resolved, that's where you go. And then the Handyman Task Force, which United is still working on a handyman program. We haven't finally finalized what that handyman program is going to be. So at this particular point in time, most of the meetings, there is a time at the beginning of every meeting whereby they ask for member comments. And at that particular point in time, you can specifically speak your mind as to what you feel certain issues. If it's not on the agenda, then you can speak to it as long as it's being handled by that committee.
Right.
You don't go to the M&C committee to address a landscape problem.
Right.
So, but in any case, and that's basically all I have this week.
Okay.
Supposed to be back on next week because the M&C committee is happening next week. So.
All right, very good. And we always mention at the beginning of the program, the meetings that day. We do not mention the closed meetings, though, because we don't want you to hear a meeting time and then show up when it's a closed meeting. So we never mention those. Or what you have, sometimes they're just board president meeting or whatever it might
exactly.
be.
It's closed
only
meeting.
Open meetings that we mention. All right, Carl, we'll see you next week, right?
Yep.
Take care of yourself.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We'll be back.
Hopes and dreams lived a luxury lifestyle consultant with spectacular taste. One day he thought, I'll show lottery winners how to live like a millionaire.
I'm like gonna cry. Like, this is beautiful.
Pinch me. He scoured the land looking for the home of their dreams, which he slayed. So the families could live in plenty and live fabulously ever after.
All new My Lottery Dream Home, Friday night at 9 on HGTV.
Welcome back, and it's a pleasure to have on from the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Gene Inoue, and we are going to talk about scams today, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. Welcome, Lieutenant.
Thank you for having me here today.
You know, first, let's acknowledge, the fallen officer, because you have your badge with the black band around it, and I think that's important.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had Deputy Cameron, who was a member of our Stanton Police Services, who had passed away recently after being in a coma for several years.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you and all of the officers from all the different agencies, for their service, because as we've seen recently, it's can be, unfortunately, quite unpredictable out there.
It definitely is sometimes,
yeah.
Yes.
So thank you. Scams, as I said when I was giving the weather, they're ever increasing and they're ever getting more creative, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
So let's talk about a few of them that have been ongoing. Some of these have been ongoing for quite a while. The IRS one is certainly one that's probably in some form or another has been going on for years. And then the Social Security one is something fairly recent maybe over the last year or two.
Yes, so the IRS scam is usually prevalent more during the tax season,
yes,
obviously, and it usually comes through emails. And oftentimes what they'll do is they'll try to say that either you owe money to the IRS or we need more information to clear up maybe some discrepancies in your tax return, or they'll say if you want to find out what your tax refund status is, then to contact this number. And you know, obviously the IRS is not going to contact you via email, and usually they're not going to contact you by phone. You'll usually get that letter from the IRS if you have some tax issues.
And they're never going to contact you if you have a refund and call you, hey, you haven't collected your refund yet. I don't think they're ever going to do that.
I haven't had that phone call either yet, right? So yeah, that doesn't happen usually. So usually, obviously, with all scams, they're trying to get personal information from you. So whether it's a bank information, your social security information, anything that personally identifies you as an individual, and they use that information to try to take money out of your accounts or use your identity to get credits, lines of credits, or any kind of financial gain from using your identity.
Right, and a lot of times on these emails, they can be coming, you know, as you mentioned, the IRS ones. They can look like they're coming from your bank or whatever, because they go and often use the same logos and those kind of things. And you don't ever want to click on those. You know, I got one once that it was from the bank or the credit union or something like that. Well, it turned out to be legitimate, but I didn't click on that. I called them and I go, hey, I got this email. And they go, oh yeah, we look, you know, it looks like your card might have been compromised. So we're going to be sending you out a new card, and it was legitimate.
Yes.
I didn't click on it. I called.
Yes, and you definitely don't want to, if you get an email or a phone call from someone that you didn't prompt the call, you want to make sure that you can go on the back of your, or go on your statement or look on the back of your card and call that phone number. Don't call the phone number that they provide in an email, or if they call you and say, hey, call this number regarding your bank information.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of times just calling them is bad because it verifies your phone number, and the scam may simply be that they're using your phone number to make illegitimate phone calls on, or nowadays, you know, you can use the phone number to order things, right? Then it gets onto your bill. So you don't even want to do that.
Yes, and they've got and scammers have gotten so sophisticated within the last few years because of technology, where they're even actually able to what we call spoofing phone numbers. So it may be a phone number that pops up on your caller ID, which may be a familiar phone call, or you know, maybe a family member, or it can even be from a police department. And that's where a lot of these Social Security scams and some of the IRS scams, they actually come up saying that it's from the IRS or from the Social Security Administration.
Let me ask you about that. You just about police departments.
Yes.
That is something that has gone on for years and years and years. I mean, I can remember, you know, 30 years ago, you get calls, I'm with the Police Association of Orange County or whatever it is, and we're collecting funds and that sort of thing. Do you folks do that?
We do not do that. Okay. The Sheriff's Department will not actively solicit donations for anything. Usually those phone calls are usually after a major catastrophic maybe disaster in our county, and I've heard of scams where someone will represent the Firefighters Association or the Sheriff's Association, California Sheriff's Association. So no, neither us nor the fire department would reach out to the public and make cold calls seeking donations.
Okay, very good to know.
Yes.
Okay, this other one, the Social Security one, and this is quite scary to folks that are getting Social Security, because the call comes in, and if they answer it, it's basically saying, well, we don't have your correct information. We're going to stop sending out your checks because we don't have this information, right?
Yes. So oftentimes, obviously their main goal is to get that personal information so they can access your bank accounts or anything, like I said, where they can get some type of financial gain. And again, you may get phone calls where, I mean, I've gotten phone calls where they say that they're from the Social Security Administration and that your Social Security number is being suspended. Well, the Social Security Administration is not going to suspend your Social Security card number, right? They're not going to call asking for personal information. They already have that personal information, so why would they even need that?
Yeah.
And oftentimes they'll say, well, we need to verify who you are. Well, they already know who you are, and they shouldn't be. The biggest thing is don't provide any personal information to a unsolicited or to a phone solicitor or a call that you have not personally called for information.
Right. And then there's a lot of them, although they may not be necessarily scams, just annoying calls in general, timeshares and things like that.
Yes.
You know, that's why I just don't, unless I know the number, I don't answer it. If it's important, they're going to leave me a message, or more often than not, if people I know, they're going to text me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't get many personal phone calls anymore.
Yes.
That's so like 2000, 2001, right? Who gets calls? All right, let's talk about another one. And, you know, we mentioned the calls, but secure Wi-Fi. This is important because people are often out, they're sitting over at Starbucks or just doing something, and I got to pay this bill or whatever it might be. And, you know, quite often the Wi-Fi is not secured.
That's correct. So even at home, you want to make sure that you secure your Wi-Fi with a very good password.
Don't. Yeah.
Right. So that usually, unfortunately, they'll set up their Wi-Fi system. They're excited to use that new system, and then they fail to reset the password, and they use the default password. Right. So obviously, if you have a home Wi-Fi, definitely change the password, make it, and you may want to change it, you know, every few months to make sure that if someone has it, they can't access your Wi-Fi. Because if they're able to access your Wi-Fi, then they're able to possibly get into your computer system and get personal information from your computer system, which is the same thing with public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi is open to everybody. There are people out there that will sit in coffee shops just for the sole purpose of getting information from people that are using the public Wi-Fi for paying bills or access or purchasing things through different online stores, and then they're able to get that information and use it to create their crimes. Right,
and it's very easy to do. That is to secure your own Wi-Fi. And you know, to give you an example, even I'm sitting at home and sometimes you lose your Wi-Fi signal. You go to look back on, and it says choose a network. Well, I can see my neighbors.
Yes, absolutely.
And here you're even in more close proximity. So if somebody had not secured their Wi-Fi or you haven't, they can just choose you. And if anything, they're now using your system. If even all they're doing is just using your system, it's, they don't want to pay for theirs or whatever.
Correct.
That's bad enough, let alone getting in.
Yes, because if they're using your Wi-Fi to access websites or do things online that is illegal, and it ends up, an criminal investigation occurs, we can actually track that IP address to that Wi-Fi, so it appears that you're the one that is doing those illegal activities.
Yeah. One other thing that I'd like to mention. We have both the Mac Club here and the PC Club, and they can teach you with your phone how to use two-factor authentication, meaning if you're online somewhere and you want to log in and like your bank, sometimes they'll go, we don't recognize this computer. They will send a code to your text and then you go in that way. This can be set up with your iPhone, your Android phone, for a lot of different reasons, and it's good. It's a little bit more of a hassle, but it will help you, and our different clubs can help people learn how to do that.
Yeah, and that's a great point, absolutely.
Yeah. As far as just in general, somebody feels that they have been victim of a fraud, what can they do about it?
Well, if they're a victim of a fraud, obviously we want them to call the Sheriff's Department. I've got two phone numbers, 949 770-6011 for South Orange County, or 714-647-7000 for North Orange County. Either phone number will reach our dispatch center, and we can send a deputy out to wherever they are to take that crime report. I think the biggest thing to prevent yourself from being a victim of a scam, and there's so many different scams that are going on today, is just mainly keeping up to date as to what type of scams that are out there. And the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is a great source of information of scams that are currently or that are occurring throughout the United States. And you can go on their website, which is ftc.gov, G-O-V, and usually what they'll do is they'll post the latest scams that they're encountering with the FTC.
That's good. Yeah.
And with them as well, if you're a victim, you can actually file a report with the FTC, and they'll provide you help on how to get you back on track as a victim.
Right.
So.
And what's good in this community, our security department is headed by Tim Moy. We often give talks about that. And you know, if you feel you are a victim of fraud, and although our security department is not going to help you with that, what they will help you is, you know, you can always get a hold of the security department here and goes, you know, they'll send you to the right direction to the sheriff's department. So they're very good about that. So great to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And you know, this is all fantastic information, and you know, the whole thing is, you know, if you put this down here, if in your gut you feel that something's a little strange, it probably is.
Absolutely.
It's better to be safe than sorry, because if you miss that important phone call, they're going to call you back.
Yes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't.
It is.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you, and we'll be right back.
Mom and I take on some of the nastiest places in our neighborhood.
If the home has good bones, we'll turn them into amazing spaces.
And we're just getting started.
Get out of my way, boys.
Oh my God.
Ta-da! Wow!
It's gorgeous.
Go ahead, toot your own horn. Toot, toot.
All new Good Bones, Tuesday at 9 on HGTV.
The Santa Ana Zoo goes beyond animal attractions. They are committed to providing recreation and education while highlighting the message of conservation. I caught up with Lauren Berg, educational specialist, to learn about their education programs. We are in Exploration Outpost, and I've caught up with Lauren, who's going to tell us a little bit about the volunteer and education programs. So, very fun area that we're in, and you said this is where some of our educational programs happen, right?
Yes, this is actually one of the really popular places for our education programs, including our Zoo Explorer. We use a lot of volunteers. We would not be able to do our education programs without our volunteers, and they range in backgrounds, ages, and abilities. Our docent program and our interpreters are the main ones that help us with those programs, and we absolutely love retired teachers and other people who just love kids and animals and want to come share the zoo with that next generation.
So what are some of the requirements as a volunteer?
So we don't have any starting requirements. You don't need to have a background in education or a background with animals. We do all of the training. We just ask for a lot of enthusiasm. And of course, availability while the zoo is open, because most of our programs take place during the regular hours of 10 a.m. until noon, but we also have volunteer opportunities throughout the entire day from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m.
And what are some of the things that they would be doing?
Sure, so the very first requirements for our volunteers is attending an orientation. We have orientations on the first Saturday of even-numbered months, so every other month. And we have volunteers that help with education programs, leading students around the zoo and doing activities. We have volunteers in our farm, helping people interact safely with the goats and the sheep and our other ambassador animals. We even have volunteers that help out our animal services staff if they're looking for something more physical.
And if somebody wanted to participate as a volunteer, can they just go to your website?
Exactly. All of our information about volunteering is on santaanazoo.org. Under the support tab, they can click on volunteer at the zoo and find all of the information they need.
Okay, perfect. And then, you know, here we have this exploration point here. What are they going to find here?
So here at the Exploration Outpost, you're going to find our reptiles and amphibians. We get a lot of guests that are afraid of snakes, and we have 2 big, beautiful boa constrictors here at the zoo. And it's a great opportunity for people to kind of face their fears, and also for our volunteers to give some conservation messaging and help people get past those myths and realize that these animals are really important to our environment and have benefits for people as well.
The Santa Ana Zoo is located right off the 5 freeway off 1st Street on Chestnut Avenue in Santa Ana. Very simple to get to. The zoo is open 7 days a week from 10 to 4, closed major holidays. There is a senior rate, 60 years and over, of $9. Wheelchairs and electric scooters are available for rent. For more information, visit their website at www.santaanazoo.org.
I run Fox News.
Anyone outside is the enemy.
We need to reclaim this country for the real Americans.
Gretchen?
Roger. I'm broadening my audience.
Well, I hired you because you're a beauty queen.
He's a bully.
I will do anything to protect my people. I'm a multifaceted man.
Well, if you were a fan of the original Dragnet TV show, you're going to like this movie. This is a movie that came out in 1987, and it's more of a comedic take on that program. It stars Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks, Christopher Plummer is in it, Danny Coleman, quite a cast. And in this one, the no-nonsense Los Angeles detective, Sergeant Joe Friday, who is played by Dan Aykroyd, is partnered with a wisecracking Pep Streetback. Strange name. I don't remember that one from the original Dragnet. But this one, it's played by Tom Hanks and a hip upstart cop. And they're mismatched, but they come together in order to investigate a strange series of ritual killings. And Harry Morgan is in this as well. He, of course, was in the original Dragnet. He was the sidekick in that one. So I don't know where they get this name from, but it's a good movie. It's a fun movie, and you'll see a lot of folks, a lot of people in the cast you will recognize back in the 1980s. So Dragnet is today, 2 o'clock and 7. And then we go back in time again on Monday with Rushmore. This was a Wes Anderson movie that starred Bill Murray. And if you recall this movie, it's all about a young man who's in a prep school, and he is attracted to a new teacher. She's a first grade teacher, and he tries to figure out how to woo her, and he gets help from his father, played by Bill Murray, and a couple of his schoolmates for advice on how to get her interested in him. However, the situation soon gets complicated when his friend becomes involved with her, setting the two pals up against each other in a war for her attention. So this was from 1999. There is Bill Murray right there. And that will be on Monday, and 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. Now, coming up this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, October 19th, over at the Norman P. Murray Community Center in Mission Viejo from 9 o'clock until noon, Lisa Bartlett is going to be presenting the South County Disasters Expo. And this is going to be a great event really for all ages, because they're going to have people there that you can talk about getting prepared for a disaster, free giveaways, food, music, entertainment, and fun activities for all ages. The expo is free to everyone, and you're all invited 9 o'clock to 12 noon at the Norman P. Murray Community Center. That is on Veterans Way in Mission Viejo. So a great event to go to, and it's really going to be fun for quite a few people, all ages. They have vendor booths and displays and all kinds of stuff for the kids, so you'll be all set. Also coming up, the Lutheran Church is doing their Harvest Festival, and that's going to be a really good event. Also tomorrow, now that kind of conflicts in time a little bit, but with the Disaster Expo, but you can go to that in the early morning and then get here from 11 to 3, because this one is just going to be open from those hours. You don't have to be there right at 11, and they're going to have lots of fun there, inflatable corn maze and a cakewalk. What's really going to be neat, look at the bottom there, European Model Railroad train display. That is going to be really fun, and it's a group of folks that get together. These are modular units, and they put them together to make this huge railroad. And I think that's going to be there both Saturday and Sunday, the railroad part of it. They're not going to take it down in the afternoon. But look at all that's going to be there, carnival games and food and all kinds of fun. So you can head on over there to the Lutheran Church. That's right up the street on El Toro tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that'll be fun. All right, as far as the weather goes, as I said earlier, today and tomorrow, we have similar weather to what we had yesterday. Kind of nice, mild weather, a little bit of breeze out there, a little bit of clouds, just really beautiful fall weather. However, as we get to Sunday and Monday, those Santa Ana winds are due to come back in. Temperatures are going to go up. Right now, looks like the winds will come in the evening of Sunday overnight into Monday. It may spill over into Tuesday as well. And I do expect red flag warnings to go up. They have not gone up yet, but that could happen because of the temperature and the wind. So hopefully we don't get any problems out of this event like we did last time. And going forward, Tuesday, 88 degrees. And then Wednesday, I think, looking forward, it's going to be about the same. So we got some warmer weather coming up. Around the state this weekend, it's fairly mild for being mid-October. As you look all around, those are all pretty mild temperatures, even up in the Sierras and Tahoe and Yosemite. Really nice. A little bit of rain up there in the north coast, but that's going to be about it. And everywhere else, as you get down here, it's going to be warmer, as I said, Sunday and Monday. All right, we will see you on Monday. We're going to have folks on from the Garden Club. Scott Farthing will be here from Saddleback College, their Entertainment Arts Division. And also, we're going to bring a segment with Congresswoman, Katie Porter, and a segment from Radnor as well. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.